Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Nesson Studios. Michaela Vernava alongside Darren Hartwell on this beautiful NFL Sunday.
Yep. Doesn't
Beautiful
feel like
day.
fall.
No, really warm.
Very warm
Unseasonably warm, even here in New England and in the Meadowlands. And AFC East first place face-off today. New England Patriots taking on the New York Jets.
Yep.
Not me. I don't think anyone would have. I've said this a couple times this week, is that I'm pretty sure I made some sort of ridiculous statement that I would do something crazy if the Jets were to beat the Patriots at all this season, and now I'm just kind of hoping no one goes back and finds that, because I think I could potentially be losing a bet. Certainly doesn't feel like this game's in the bag. Both teams 3-2, Jets on a 3-game win streak. Thought the Patriots might be undefeated, thought the Jets might not win a single game this season. So far hasn't been the case.
Everything's topsy-turvy a little bit, and then obviously playing at Metlife Stadium. Patriots, even when they've been rolling, have always had kind of some struggles there. So
these two teams always seem to play close, no matter whether it's Rex Ryan or now Todd Bowles. We've seen some fluke games where you don't expect the Jets to beat the Patriots, and they do. So definitely, a great rivalry with Gang Green here. Always pretty fun to watch. But this one's kind of tough to predict, and some unpredictable news that we got just yesterday on Saturday, specifically about Stephon Gilmore out with a concussion. That we will have more on from our Doug Kyed and Zack, who are at Metlife Stadium. We'll have that in just a bit. But Darren, first, I want to talk to you about the Patriots offense. So we have seen, Tom Brady missing several practices this week, that banged up left shoulder. He's been getting hammered, sacked more times so far this season than he was all of last season. Obviously, that is problematic. Can't keep happening. We've talked a lot about how Julian Edelman being out of this offense has really affected Brady's time in the pocket, and possibly is a big part of why he's getting hit so often. We also know that Nate Solder has not been looking like he used to, not been up to his best self, and nor has the rest of the offensive line. What we haven't really talked much about, I feel like, is the fact that, the defense has been the big story this season about how bad they are. Worst defense pretty much of the Bill Belichick era. How that's sneakily, I guess, affecting Tom Brady, because playing from behind, how that is affecting him and how often he's getting hit.
Yeah, I think that's definitely an issue. I think the blueprint is there for them to turn that around on multiple fronts today. You look at the Jets. They're one of the worst pass rushing teams in terms of getting pressure on the quarterback in the NFL this season. They have just 7 sacks, which is 31st in the NFL. And they also have a really bad run defense. So in theory, what you want to do is you want to keep Brady upright. That's obviously the big thing. He's dealing with the shoulder injury. And if you can get ahead early, get off to that fast start, you can really pound the ball in the run game, kind of limit the throws. Keep Brady healthy. That's the big thing, and then maybe get Mike Gillislee going and feed him the ball. The Jets can be beat in the run game. They got torched by Leonard Fournette earlier this season, so I think that's going to be kind of what the Patriots should try to game plan, and then see if they can execute that.
Is this a game where you think we might start to see a lot more of Dion Lewis, maybe them kind of switching it up with the running backs, or do you think we'll see heavy play with Gillislee?
Yeah, it's tough to say. The Patriots backfield, Bill Belichick always messes. Especially for fantasy owners, it's a complete mess. I do think Gillislee will get the first opportunity there. If you saw Fournette is kind of that big bruiser, and he had success against the Jets, so maybe they'll try Gillislee between the tackles. We saw Lewis get more touches in the running game against the Bucs, so he could be in line there. Obviously, you have James White too. He's been more involved in the passing game, but maybe they balance out Lewis and Gillislee, and then usually what they do is get them touches early and see who has the hot hand, and then they ride with him. So we could find out by the second quarter who's going to be getting the most touches for the rest of the game.
And you are, of course, our fantasy expert. And Mike Gillislee has been disappointing for fantasy owners. I guess as the fantasy guy, how often do you see a running back be able to turn it around and start giving you some good games when he's been bad so far.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the better case scenarios for Gillislee. The thing with him, he's been pretty touchdown dependent. He, really isn't getting the yardage that, you'd look for in a consistent running back. He's usually hovering around 50 yards, not really getting that many carries, like you said, because Patriots have been playing from behind. They've been throwing the ball a lot. They've been a little bit skewed towards the pass. So in this game, in a situation like this, if the run game gets going, he could be that featured back. But again, it's still kind of a crapshoot because you have Dion Lewis, you have James White. The Patriots like to kind of mix up, and their game plan, they base the game plan based on what's happening during the game. With that said, this I think Gillislee is if there were a time for him to break out, it would be this game.
Running back Rex Burkhead also ruled out of this one. And like you said, I mean, I really want to highlight the fact that the Jets only have, as you said, 7 sacks on the season. So this kind of, I mean, could be a comeback game, you think, for the offensive line, because they really need to turn things around and keep Tom Brady upright. Yeah, this could be a good confidence boost for them. But then on the other side of the coin, you have Coney Ely over there. Yes,
could be a Coney Ely revenge game for him. Recently cut by the Patriots. They have some bodies, but again, they haven't been able to produce. I think they will be bringing the pressure, though. I think we saw, obviously, Rex Ryan isn't Todd Bowles isn't Rex Ryan, but back when Ryan was facing the Patriots, he loved to just load up and blitz the Patriots. That's how putting the pressure on Tom Brady, kind of going all in, kind of winner go home mentality. So I think we could see more of that. The Jets defense always has played the Patriots pretty aggressively, especially at home. Kind of established the edge and established physicality. So I think, like you said, earlier on in the game, it's going to be up to the Patriots to stem the tide. It's going to be up to the offensive line, for starters, to keep Brady upright, give him time in the pocket, and get off to a fast start. Yeah, and certainly keeping their eye on Coney Ely, I think that is going to be a big one. I mean, if I were him, I would want to be proving to the Patriots and Bill Belichick that they made a mistake, and he's probably going to try to redeem himself in their eyes. Yeah, absolutely. So, if I'm Tom Brady, too, I would be a little bit nervous of him, coming at me, especially with the struggles the offensive line has had. So we've covered the fact that the Jets' run defense really terrible. How do you feel about, they do have those young safeties back there. Chris Hogan has been solid with Brady being able to get him the deep ball. Obviously, Amendola, on Wednesday, Brady said that Amendola is uncoverable. Pretty big statement, but Amendola has really stepped up this season in Julian Edelman's absence and been a solid target for Brady and reliable. But how do you feel about the Jets' defense ability to cover Brady's targets? They actually haven't been too bad against the pass this year. I think they're ranked 12th against the pass. Which for a team like the Jets, you wouldn't really expect that, kind of in the top half of the NFL. Expect the unexpected with the Jets. That's what I'm saying for this season. I mean, that's kind of been in the matchups they've been in. They've faced a lot of teams that like to run the ball. But I think I think the chances there for the Patriots to have at least some success in the passing game, and you have Gronk back. That's the big thing. We saw in the Bucs game against the Bucs, especially in the red zone. That's where you need Gronk and just have that threat. He opens things up for Hogan. When you see Chris Hogan wide open all the time, a lot of that is because the opposing defenses are focusing on Gronk. They're focusing on Brandon Cooks not getting beat over the top, and then the middle is open for guys like Hogan and Amendola. So I think that's going to be kind of a similar blueprint. The Jets secondary has been pretty good, but I still think they can be exposed. And we did see a lot of improvements with some of the struggles the Patriots have had this season in that game against Tampa Bay. The red zone issues, though, were really big. Chris Hogan was the only player to score a touchdown for the Patriots. Then, of course, they had to settle for 3 field goals in that game. Again, you're thanking your lucky stars for Stephen Gostkowski, who seems to be back in the rhythm when you look at the struggles that teams like the Buccaneers have with their kickers. Makes you a little bit thankful for that, because that helped them pull off that win. Right. But that's obviously not an ideal situation. They need to be converting in the red zone. So Gronk being back definitely should help. Dwayne Allen, I mean, 6 weeks into the season, just
do we give up on him at this point? He's just really not making an impact so far.
Yeah, and you worry a little bit about, you have had newcomers come in here and not be able to pick up the offense as well as some of the other guys have been here. You go back. It seemed like Martellus Bennett got the hang of things pretty well last season and was able to step in, but this is a kind of a complex offense to learn, so maybe there's an issue there. He just isn't really assimilating as well. Obviously, when you have Gronk in the field, he's draws a lot of attention, and so that gives Allen the chance to step up. So the opportunity still is there, but yeah, we're kind of running out of time on Allen to be that. Maybe you just lower expectations a little bit. Maybe you're not thinking this is the Dwayne Allen that it was one of the Colts' top targets when he was back in Indianapolis. I think Brady's kind of been targeting, his running backs out of the backfield. That's kind of been his safety net as opposed to relying as heavily on the tight end. So, maybe this is a situation where Allen gets going, finds his groove a little bit against the Jets. Like I said, they've done pretty well against wide receivers, but maybe they can be beaten with the tight ends. But yeah, we're going to need to see something.
Yeah, and as far as Gronk goes, it is good that they're coming off 10 days of rest here. That extra time should give all around Brady, Gronk, both now off the injury report. They're full participants in practice on Friday, which is definitely comforting for Patriots Nation. But as far as the defense goes, that 10 days should be helpful. Of course, they were working on a short week when they played in Tampa Bay. And like I said, we saw them be able to correct some of the really glaring and concerning issues on the defensive side of the ball that we've been seeing all season. But since they were working on a short week, kind of had Stephon Gilmore, who struggled a lot, just in man coverage, covering Mike Evans. He did do a good job. You were talking about how difficult it can be for some players to pick up the offense. The same is true for the defense. The Patriots do have very deep defensive playbook as well, and he has certainly struggled. Gilmore has, and we've seen those glaring communication errors. Also, just for side note, because we'll get more into Gilmore, because I'm just going to say I was hoping to maybe see this as being a game where Gilmore could have gotten the ball rolling the right direction, maybe be a confidence booster against this Jets offense who doesn't have, many threats out there. So really was thinking, he has a good game in man. Maybe now on 10 days that they've had to practice, they've been able to maybe get some of those issues with their other coverages right and see him get some confidence. But he is, of course, as we said, out. We'll have more on that from Zack and Doug in just a sec. But first, Harvey Longy, another curveball, and definitely some scary news that he was in a car accident with his wife in Foxborough on Saturday night. Look at that. I mean, this is from the Foxborough Fire Department, tweeted out this photo. When I first heard this news, it was that he was rear-ended at a red light. And of course, at least my initial reaction was, little fender bender, you get bumped, but you just saw that picture. That looked pretty serious. And Doug Kyed actually was first to report this, and they were taken to the hospital with serious injuries, but not life-threatening, and Longy now out of this game today. Yeah, it's definitely a scary situation. Obviously, this is something that you cannot plan for. It sounds like, at least I think it's him and his wife, they're doing okay. That's the most important thing. But this is another, Patriots have dealt with some adversity on the injury front, but this is something a little different. So, you're just glad they're okay. Patriots defense, obviously a little bit thin, but, I think they'll be able to recover. Yeah, this is definitely a very serious situation. Yes. And like you said, first and foremost, glad that they are okay, but kind of just one of those, one thing after another of just weird stuff that seems to be happening to the Patriots. Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone's got a Patriots voodoo doll out there. I'm not saying it's Roger Goodell, but I'm not saying it's not Roger Goodell, you know what I mean? Can't deny it. So let's go now to Metlife Stadium, where Zack and Doug Kyed have more on the cornerback situation and what the Patriots are going to do with their defensive backfield.
Certainly one to watch today. Rowe was ruled out on Friday. Stephon Gilmore ruled out with a concussion that we didn't even know existed on Saturday. So I think the theory here is that the Patriots will have to use a couple of their safeties in cornerback-like situations with Patrick Chung and Devin McCourty. But the real question is, what do the Patriots do if the Jets force them into dime defense, and that means 6 defensive backs on the field? Would you expect to see Johnson Batamosi at that point, Jordan Richards, Danny Amendola?
I mean, they're running out of options.
Yeah.
The Eric Rowe thing is no surprise. We didn't expect him to play this week. But the Stephon Gilmore absence really came out of nowhere. Like you said, we didn't even know he had a concussion until the team announced on Saturday that he was out for this game. So that leaves them with just 3 healthy cornerbacks for this game: Malcolm Butler, Jonathan Jones, and Johnson Batamosi, who hasn't played on special team or hasn't played on defense all season, been purely a special teams player. Now he does have some defense experience.
Yeah.
He did play. I believe he played about 250 snaps on defense for the Detroit Lions last year. But I don't know how comfortable the Patriots will be putting him into the situation. I don't know how much he's practiced in that. And like you said, if I'm the Jets in this game, I throw out every kind of complicated motion, every bunch formation, every 4 or 5 wide. Yeah. That's just spread the Patriots defense out, because their secondary is so thin right now.
Yeah, I think fortunately for the Patriots in this game, the Jets do have one of the worst receiving cores in the NFL, really maybe even in the history of the NFL.
It's not great.
Their number 1 receiver is Jermaine Kearse. Beyond that, they have Robbie Anderson. They picked up Jeremy Curley. And then Darius Stewart, who's a rookie out of Alabama. They have Chad Hansen, who's a rookie out of California. It's really no problem if you've never heard of most of these names, because most people haven't. But yeah, I mean, they do have the bodies to go 4 wide, but it might kind of play to the Patriots' advantage, even though they don't have many defensive backs in this game, don't have many cornerbacks. Going 4 wide would mean that the Jets would be taking either Austin Sperry-Jenkins off the field or one of their running backs. And even the Jets running back core is pretty shallow in this game. They don't have Bilal Powell. He will reportedly be out. That means that they're down to Elijah McGuire and Matt Forte. So I don't know. I mean, the Patriots should win this game pretty handily, even though they are low on defensive backs. But I don't know, games here usually wind up to be pretty close.
They usually do. I mean, if you exclude that Christmas Eve blowout at Gillette last year, each of the previous 7 Patriots-Jets games were decided by 7 or fewer points. So they were all 1-touchdown games, and the Patriots are 4-4 in their last 8 games here. So even when the Jets are very bad and the Patriots are very good, these always seem to be tight games. I mean, they only beat them by 5 here last season, and they were really on opposite ends of the spectrum record-wise. So yeah, I mean, I was expecting probably a pretty close game even before this Gilmore news, and now it could be tight. I do think the Patriots will still win this game, but I don't think that it's going to be a blowout by any means.
No, the Patriots offense should definitely be in better shape for this game. Rob Gronkowski will be back. I think that's really one of the main reasons why they did struggle last Thursday night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When you don't have Julian Edelman, when you don't have Rob Gronkowski, your offense just is not going to look the same. But Gronk has been practicing all week. It was removed from the injury report. Tom Brady with his left shoulder injury, he also was removed from the injury report. So those guys should be good to go. No Rex Burkhead in this game, but we should see probably plenty of Mike Gillislee, James White, and Deion Lewis carrying the ball for the Patriots. And yeah, I mean, both teams 3-2 heading into this game. I don't think anyone would have possibly predicted that. I myself was predicting 0-16, maybe even 16-0 before the season. These two teams played the last week of the season, and we were saying it could be 15-0 against 0-15.
That would have been great.
Yeah, 5 weeks later, we're stuck here at 3-2, and this is for the battle for first place in the AFC East. So, you know, NFL season, very unpredictable.
Absolutely.
But back to you guys in this studio.
All right, thanks, guys. Darren, before we sign off here, as we said, you are our fantasy expert. Any last-minute advice after the latest news, especially when it comes to the Patriots and the Jets? Any last-minute sits or starts?
Yeah, I would take a look at Matt Forte if you're out there. You know, Patriots fans won't like that, but Bilal Powell is out for the Jets, so it's going to be Elijah McGuire and Matt Forte. And the Patriots have been really bad against the run this year, so I think you know, if you're looking for a flyer, go on Forte. I also like, if we're looking on the Patriots side, like I said, I like Gillislee, and I like Brandon Cooks too. I think he hasn't gotten a whole lot of targets, but he's definitely a big play threat. So I think you know, if the Patriots kind of are pounding the running game a little bit, and then they that'll set up the play action, set up the deep pass. I think Cooks can be in line for a home run or two. So those are the guys I like.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And everyone, thanks for watching. You can follow along with Zack and Doug on Twitter, and we will have you covered on all your NFL news here on NESN.com. So keep with us all day long.